Right, what's up, Dragon Brew? Today we're playing what is arguably, possibly, the most annoying deck to play in Standard and still be good. And that's the Azorius Flash deck. This thing has the ability to counter things, bounce things, make it hard for your opponent to play stuff. It's almost like playing a Death and Taxes style deck from, any of the older formats, if you will. So let's take a look and then play some fun games with this. So of course we need some early interaction, so we have Simic Ramp and Spell Snare, which stops a whole bunch of things. High Noon also makes this deck very annoying because, well, if you're able to counter a thing or bounce a thing or whatever, your opponent's only going to get one spell a turn. This is going to make it really hard for them to do anything. We do have Voice of Victory, so they can't even do anything on our turn, so they can only do the one thing on their turn. Flood Pitch Drowner can tap down stuff and get rid of it. Of course, no more lies, because, counters. Even Interrupter's a pseudo counter because you can stop your opponent from playing a thing for the turn, but even funnier is they also can't play that because it's plotted until the following turn. And then if you have multiples, they end up costing more. Enduring Innocence can get us more cards to keep us nice and flush with spells. Aang, Swift Savior, can be even more annoying because you can bounce Flood Pitch Drowner, you could bounce an Aven Interrupter, or you just airbend their spell and keep them from doing a thing. Avatar's Wrath, great against other creature decks. Not so much against other non-creature decks, except for the fact that you could maybe bounce an Aang or an Aven Interrupter and slow those decks down too. We do have a couple of Enduring Curiosity, because again, another way to keep our hand full once we start rolling. And then other than that, we have some Abandoned Air Temple for lands, and kind of the usual suspects otherwise. Could squeeze in a Restless Land if you wanted to, but I think we kind of want our mana enough that we don't necessarily want tap lands in this one. But you know the business we got to do. I got to tell you, if you're going to buy cards and you want to save money, go over to Tales of Adventure. It's toamagic.com. And then use my code DRAGON. It's DRAGN. And that'll get you 5% off on literally everything you buy over there. Also, what's cool is they show up at a lot of shows. So you can also work out things with them to have stuff delivered to a Magic Con or an open series event or, a regional championship if you're going to be at one of those. So yeah, check them out. In the meantime, though, let's go see how much we can annoy our opponents while we're getting those wins. We're on the draw, sure. Obviously, you'd love to have a Spell Snare or something here, but we'll see if we can make it work. We're probably going to be on an Avatar's Wrath plan in a couple turns, but we'll see. Yeah, this is fine. Kind of just staying on pace here. Can counter something, can Aven Interrupter something. And then we already have the lands to Avatar's Wrath, so that's a thing. Now, something fun here that is a little bit of a risk is we could just play an Enduring Innocence. Then if the opponent plays a Shelter, then we go ahead and Avatar's Wrath. Our creature comes back, and then we can attack. And I kind of like that. So we can gain some of this life back that we've been losing. So it might be Sanctifier into Shelter. We might get exactly what we want here. Nope, they had a Lurker. Darn it. Well, we tried. They're only attacking for 6. We take the 6, obviously. Alright, now we start trying to do stuff. Let's go ahead, save this. And then we know we don't have to see those next turn. And that's where we can get into the Aven Interrupter situation. Why do you have that? I mean, it gains life and draws cards. I know why you have it, but why do you have that? That's super annoying. You weren't supposed to have that, opponent. Okay, what are we going to do here? Am I just going to tap that down to draw? That seems kind of bad. But I think I am. Leave up Interrupter, see if we can dig here a bit. Okay, Seamrip's cool. That feels like that puts us in a position to start trying to come back a little bit. Sanctifier. I think I want to stop a Sanctifier, see if they just play a Channeler. They probably won't, though. Hmm. Alright. You get to have it. I mean, the thing is, if we counter it, though, the other ones would have just been more expensive anyway. Alright. Well, now everything just costs 4 that's over there. Yeah, Steam Rip's cool, I guess. Gotta do something with your mana, I suppose. Unfortunately, our hand's pretty dry now. So we're going to do this. I am going to Seam Rip their Seam Rip. Alright, good deal. Yeah, so our plan there, after getting rid of their Seam Rip, was going to be to get our creature back. Or I guess technically they still had it exiled somewhere. But either way, wow, did it just disappear after that? That's funny. But basically, we'd have got our dude back, keep this tap down, and then we were just going to play the Air Temple, pump our team, attack. They can only get one thing next turn. We also would have drawn a card, so it's possible we left mana up for a counter or something. But at that point, we started turning the corner enough that we were going to be in pretty good shape, because they weren't going to be able to play more than one thing a turn because of the Interrupter having all that stuff air bent. Okay, we're keeping for sure. We can even save ourselves some damage. Honestly, like, Avatar's Wrath into Aven Interrupter is brutal. Borderline not fair levels of brutal. Sure. You have you a lesson, friend. If we can get an untapped land, that would be real nice. Then we have Voice plus No More Lies against a deck that's just wanting to play cheap spells. Yeah, you have a thing. Boomerang Basics. Why not? Okay, I think we play Voice of Victory here. The other thing, too, is, especially against creature-based decks, you're really just trying to get your opponent to expend a lot of spells, right? Just use up a lot of resources, and then once they do, you're in pretty good shape. Yeah, we just take 3 here. I do like the fact that the opponent's going to really do nothing on our turn because of the Voice of Victory. Spell Snare? Nope, no Spell Snares. Love to see it. Ooh. Wasn't planning on drawing that, but I'm not mad about it either. I mean, it's either block or no. Alright, 3 cards for us. And then we have Avatar's Wrath set up. Oh, this is going to be great. And the opponent's creatures just go away because they're just tokens. Yeah, you got to get rid of that. I don't blame you one bit. But we're going to be in pretty good shape here. We're going to go ahead and Avatar's Wrath. Save our Enduring Curiosity. Play out another Voice of Victory. And now we're going to start steamrolling a bit. There's a High Noon. I mean, 3 cards is 3 cards. But they have a lot to deal with right now. Otter into Boomerang Basics, sure. Alright, 2 cards in their hand. We could Avatar's Wrath. A little bit greedy. I think we just High Noon. We attack first, High Noon, and call it good. Because then they're just not going to do anything. Oh, and we got an Avatarang. Insult to injury. Alright, so we can play this. Play High Noon. And then we get our choice of other spells we want to play. Yeah, this pretty much just locks it up. Because I can't play anything else. Yep, that's going to do it. This is wild, because I don't even feel like I'm playing this super effectively well, but the wiggle room feels very high. All right, let's keep it. See if we can get out of trouble here. I think all things being considered, I'm just going to go ahead and play a High Noon. All right, fair enough. If the opponent does nothing, we'll do nothing. Pass the turn. So they're just planning to remove stuff, right? That has to be their game plan here. All right, well. Sure, pass. This is 2 control decks, and we're going to only be doing one thing a turn. And with them having instant speed removal, we have to be a little careful here. Do I care what they get from us here? That is a real question. Probably not, because they're only going to really take no more lies, so whatever. What we're really looking for is a combination of a 6 land and Voice of Victory. So we can play Voice of Victory. Well, I guess no, because they'd play a thing during our end step. Yeah, doesn't really work out for us. Doesn't work the way I was thinking it could potentially work. Let's just play this tapped on blue. And pass. Don't forget, if we also want to try to do multiple things, we can blow up a High Noon just for 5 damage. Thanks to Starting Town giving us any color. Now, there is an interesting thing where if they try to do something, we could run down a Enduring Curiosity like behind it and then try to protect it on our turn. There's some weird scenarios we can get into here. Speaking of which, this is exactly what we would try to do. Because we only get 1 spell each. So, interesting the opponent decided to use theirs on an Ironcrag, but maybe they just figured playing against a control-ish deck, they needed to try to get ahead. Oh, we're obviously not going to let that happen. And we'll get a card. Not to say they don't have another one, but, you know. Is there any combination of stuff where this would matter? Not really. Alright. Here comes another The End. Seize the Spoils. Nice. But that is their 1 spell for the turn. So we're going to go ahead and play this. And now they're going to The End our Enduring Curiosity. This is funny. We could kill our own Enduring Curiosity so they can't get rid of it, and we get cards here. I kind of want to see what this ends up as. I don't think this is the best play to do, but I kind of dig it. Just from an interesting interacting standpoint that we've never seen before. But we get it back. We get to draw some cards, maybe. That's funny. Found another one. Can we get an untapped land? No. Well, what do we do here? Do we just play another High Noon? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe we don't do anything. We'll just end the turn. See what happens. I made a very weird game state. that I didn't intend to, but this is entertaining. Oh, feed the swarm. Boo. Okay, yeah, you got it. Opponent did go to 10 for us, though. That's kind of nice of them. Try to play another Drowner. And when you have mana, you got to be doing something with it. Yeah, sure. Opponent just had all of the end in hand. Here's an interesting thing, though, because now we're reaching a point where we could potentially kill the opponent with a high noon. So what if we attack? What do you have here? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I mean, I guess they could play something like Ugin or whatever. That would suck. Let's play this because that makes the most sense. And then I guess Voice and High Noon. Is that where we want to go? Or do we want to go? I mean, getting rid of this doesn't feel like it does anything. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Because, I mean, you Ugin, you still get to exile something. So it doesn't change enough. Alright, I guess I'm going to do this. If they have a sweeper, which they probably do by now. There was a chance we could have found any of our, like, spell countery things there, too, but we didn't. Alright. We tried. Rise of Sozin. Makes sense. Sure. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So I would have to use this on their turn to take advantage of it. So I might as well do this. Because I'm not doing anything else with my mana. And the goal is we're trying to get the opponent just 3 damage down one way or the other, right? So stop doing their upkeep. I mean, we'll play this because we're going to lose it otherwise. Also, we can use High Noon to actually destroy Sekinzin, or not Sekinzin, Sozin, when it becomes an actual creature. Another High Noon. Alright, sure. Though, if the opponent doesn't get rid of our High Noon, that becomes a problem for them. They're saying Voice of Victory. Okay, Voice of Victory's gone. I mean, the opponent, if you don't make us discard the High Noon, then those are just going to be it, right? Okay, there you go. That's how you get rid of one of them. And then we could be forced into a situation where High Noon has to get rid of Sozin and we can't use it to target the opponent. Use a removal spell on the Aven Interrupter. They are not. Okay. Unfortunately, that was just a land. However, we could use Avatar's Wrath just to have Aven Interrupter. This is going to get weird for a second. So we attack. Opponent goes to 6. We know we can get them down to 5. Boy. How do we go about business here? We could also Avatar's Wrath on our turn, but then they'll use one of our own creatures. Man, this is weird. All right, in the turn. I don't think we're supposed to do anything there. There's a lot riding on this high noon. And how they decide to play it here. But I think we just lose now, since I goofed around with that other high noon, and I probably made my situation worse. But that's okay. We can live with that. They're going to seize the spoils. So this tells me they already have like an Aang or something they can just flash in the way of our Aven Interrupter, right? Because otherwise, why would they care? Wait, they didn't have anything? What did you get from us? Are you serious? What did they take? We don't get to know. They were face down. I want to know what they must have got all lands from us or something. Because we have so many cards they could have gotten that would have been good. Another Interrupter, another Aang. I mean, Flood Pitch Drowners are gone because they got rid of those. Wow. Wow. That did not go at all how I thought that was going to go. That is crazy. And so what does this deck even do? It's just a bunch of removal trying to exile all your stuff and hopefully kill you with a Sozin. But apparently, if you can deal with Sozin, they're trying to kill you with your own cards. Man, I don't know. That is wild. I felt like we had several dead turns toward the end there, and somehow still got a win. We'll take it. Ooh. Just 2 mana, though. And, ugh. All right, let's try it. Not feeling good about it. Not gonna lie to you. That's a little better. So now we have a counter. We have Flood Pitch Drowner. We could, chart a course. I guess we just let chart a course happen. Not the type of card you really want to worry about. Yeah, they're doing reanimatory things. So that's probably fine for the most part. I'm going to go here. I assume this turn will be also something to do with the graveyard. And, oh, it was a strategic betrayal. Well, boo to that. What do you have in the yard? Nothing too concerning yet. Yeah, let's just pass. We only have 1 blue mana, which is also a mild concern. Overlord of the Belmark. I guess I'm going to use this. They have their own counter. Sure. I guess better that than normal exercise. They're leaving everything over there, which makes a lot of sense, actually. Let's go ahead and play this guy. Pass the turn. And play another Overlord. Nope, just a creature kill spell. Sure. Another one. Yeah. Not much we're going to do about it. All right, still nothing great over there that they want to pick up, so that's good. Ooh, Avatar's Wrath. Now that's something interesting. Would have been better if we could have kept our Aven Interrupter, but it's not bad. Yep. Chart a course. Sure. I mean, they're just looking for Cavero here, I'd imagine. Yeah, just pass. Now, we're going to play this. I'm assuming it will get countered. Because they're not doing anything else with the cards in their hand. So it would make sense there's another spell. Oh, no. No. Oh. My god. Okay, well, let's go to work then. Wow. Can we find one of our other counter slash pseudo counter creatures? That is not one. That is one, however, and that's very good here. All right, end the turn. Deceit. No deceit for you. All right, that's not even going to become a creature yet. And that's 10 with counter backup. Nice. All right, so we figured out how to beat a Reanimator deck. This is not great. I'm going to mulligan that. Wow, this wasn't much better than what we just had. All right. A little tough. A little tough. Thornwood Falls. Let's just pass. I don't know if we're supposed to high noon there or not. I sort of feel like we are. I would feel better if I knew I was going to follow up with a enduring curiosity somewhere along the way. But pass the turn. All right, let's stop that. Getting close. Not quite what we wanted. If we can get untapped land and we could high noon into a no more lies, that would be solid. Just gonna boomerang basics. Alright, I guess. And we're just gonna play the counter our creature game? Like, what are we doing? What just happened? Like, why did you bounce that? Like, I'm so confused. Like, what was the point? Yeah, that was weird. Like, they just made it easier for us to slow them down and time walk them, I guess. That was awkward. All right, deck, we need an untapped land here. Preferably a blue one. We've been patient. Dang it. Why are you like this? All right, our opponent has 8 mana to our 3. Not good, obviously. Sure, you get it. Because, I mean, what the heck else are we going to do here? I mean, you already have... I mean, I guess this is the only thing we're going to get to use it on at this point. Because otherwise, they're just going to have infinite mana. So, sure. Alright, well... We kind of got there eventually. Still not the appropriate number of lands, though, that we want. Alright, well, no matter what, we're attacking. Question is, what's the right thing to do here? They have so much mana. And we really can't do anything, so I guess if their plan is to play, like, heck if I know, Leviathans or something. I mean, I guess we do this and at least set one up, and maybe there's some world where I draw an untapped land and can just ding them. Okay, Overlord of the Hauntwoods isn't so scary. Alright, that's something we could live with. End the turn. We're also reaching the point where we could Avatar's Wrath soon. I feel like we did so much with so little this game. Yeah. You got it. We're going to bounce that. Okay. You got it. Are we doing anything else important here? gonna doppelgang our 2 dudes. Fortunately, they only have 1 mana left open. So I guess we just do this. And target that doppelgang. And you won't be able to pay X for it next turn. Whoo! Yeah, that one felt scary, because opponent was just ramping. Guess it kind of makes sense they were just trying to do big doppelgang things. But that is something to note, is that if you end up bouncing or airbending or whatever, plotting any of your opponent's spells with an X in it, they can't really do anything with it after that. They can just sort of pay the cost and do nothing else. There are some exceptions, I think, with like Nature's Rhythm, because they can still tap creatures. Oh no, actually you can't, because that's on the flashback, so you can't even do it when you're just casting it initially. So like, yeah, you really can't do much with X spells. It's kind of a cheat code there. Let's keep it. I mean, we're on the draw, so this isn't like the crazy good hand or anything. But we'll play that so we could maybe spell snare. Something cool happen. Oh, that's definitely one we want to spell snare. Actually, I say definitely. We could have got rid of it with Seam Rip, but we'll see. You have another one? They do not have another one. I'm going to run this out here and see if they want to get rid of our creature. Harvester of Misery. Okay. Good to see what we're up against. Pass the turn. We're going to need to get pretty crafty this game, I think. How many removal spells are you sitting on, opponent? I'm also okay with them using them on this stuff, because we're not worried about protecting them. Yeah, see, there we go. Now we're seeing what's really going on. It's about being a Reanimator pile. That's what the real story is. Alright. So now I want to find some more of our counter, flying, whatever creatures. Yeah, sure. Do your thing. I don't think I want to fight over that too badly. They're going to pick up a Cavero. We would like to stop a Cavero, obviously. Having Avatar's Wrath's kind of a nice backup plan here, too, though. But the opponent might also be calculating that. Like, what if he has a counter? Or I have something like No Moralize. Then you get the dude exiled, and then what? Where you could take Meringue, River Regent, maybe draw some cards. And discard, right? Because they do sort of need land, but if you get your 4th land, you just play Cavero, and it's all good. And we're just drawing lands over here anyway, so they have all the time in the world. We've drawn none of our actual real threats. So, unfortunately, the situation is what it is. Alright, Aven Interrupter. You're at least here to do a little bit of work. If we play this, we can't Interrupter and pump a thing. So, like, yep, just has to be this, I guess. I think I'm willing to do this here, because at some point we got to just start getting the attack on. Oh, backup Interrupter. Fantastic. Now we're talking. I wouldn't have thought this deck would have had a solid plan against these graveyard decks, but could make sense. One of the things we've been seeing is that the graveyard decks have sort of fallen off at the competitive level. Really didn't see any in the list in the RC, didn't see any in the Arena Championships. And maybe this is kind of partly a result of some of that. Yeah, we'll just end the turn. I mean, we're reaching a point where we could just Avatar's Wrath and just replay these all day, so. And with all of our creatures having flying, we are okay with this exchange. I mean, I guess we'll play this just because the opponent's not going to do much here. And then we can just no more lies. And that should end the game. But we'll see. They could have a spell snare here. They're going to fill the yard. Makes sense. Not pick up anything. Alright, so we might not be able to get by on No More Lies. Because they're taking damage here, so I'm assuming it's going to be Cavero back to... Oh, no. That's the plan? Oh, we're good then. I thought it was going to be Cavero Spell Snare. That would have been a bigger problem. Ooh, Snare, Seam Rip... I guess we keep it, right? This is kind of what this deck wants to do anyway. Pass the turn. Sure. Let's go ahead and deal with that off rip. Off seam rip, even. Try to play a 2-mana thing, please. Dang it. You're supposed to play a 2-mana spell. Now we're going to play the seam rip game? Nope, not at all. Alright, well, if we're going to lose, this is probably how it happens. Like, a hand that doesn't do much of anything. Alright, we can't allow multiples of those. That's too much. Yep, that makes sense. Not a shocker. Yeah. What are we looking to do here? If I keep this tapped down now, we can't really do much. They could protect it on their turn. I'm trying to figure out what the gamble here is. I think I need to... I think we just let it go. See what they do here. I think they do have the protective spell, though. And if they do, we're just in a lot of trouble. Unless they hopefully try to play like a 2-mana thing here. That'd be our kind of one ticket out. Oh, they did! They committed. Wow. I didn't think they were going to. Nice. Got a little bit of a bailout there. Feel like opponent got a little greedy and that played in our favor. And then now we just remove that. Alright, that's something. Okay. I'm not going to say we're cooking, but we're at least in the kitchen, you know? Pass the turn. Sure, Weaver, you got it. Hope there's no more spell snares. Oh, never mind. Have spell snares if you want to. Or not spell snares. Shelter by Ghosts. Why did I say spell snare? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah. Now we're good. We are in the driver's seat, folks. No, thank you, friend. I say that. They could have a 1-mana enchantment here still. So I don't want to get, like, overconfident, like they can't do anything, because that's totally not true. You know what? We're going to attack. Draw. And then I think we can just take 2 damage here. Oh, we don't even have to take the 2 now. Play a High Noon and pass, and then we're good. Because now we can just protect it with Aang, and the opponent really can't do anything here. With their 1 spell. And then we can just get them with High Noon. Oh, we don't even need to. That's 8 in the air anyway. Well, 4 in the air, 8 on the ground, 4 on the ground. You have to block opponent. Nope, they're just like, whatever. I'm dead anyway. Yeah, they could have blocked, but once they take 4, they're at 4, and then we just blow up High Noon for 5. So, yeah, worked out pretty well, all things considered, because that was a good start from the opponent with these extra Optimistic Scavenger, and we kind of got stuck for a second there. Oh, man, there's a lot to say about this deck. I don't think I even played this that well. if I'm being honest. But even with all that, we ended up winning a lot of games that I wasn't even sure we were going to pull out of them or whatever. And it doesn't really take a lot. This deck's really good. And like I said, it's pretty annoying to play against. It taxes your resources, makes it hard for you to do multiple things in a turn. Like, you have to play around a bunch of things. You know, what's the weakness? I mean, you know, hyper aggro decks and stuff still can be a problem if you don't get your early, like, Seam Rip spell snares. But, yeah, the deck is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Some discard decks. This is one of the ones where a discard deck could be kind of annoying, right? Picking off the right cards, keeping you from ever using an interrupter the way you want. Fortunately, the decks right now that it's, like, what I would say bad against aren't super prevalent. Though, some of the Dimir decks, you know, once they're going in, especially if it's early on their elemental and doing all that stuff, like, that could be a little bit problematic depending on what your hands look like. But overall, deck's very, very strong. Like, nothing to knock here at all. Totally worth playing if you have the cards. You saw the games. This was really good. I think we lost one? I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. But, yeah, nothing to complain about here at all. This gets double thumbs up. But I'm going to leave a link over on to Moxfield. Y'all can check it out. But if you want to be annoying while still playing a good deck, you want to be a griefer, this deck's for you. That's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.